Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Best Health and what we hope to be the first of many topics to empowering your financial well being. This event's been designed specifically towards retirement planning. Start well, finish well. As we go, if you have any questions, you can put them into the chat box. We'll answer as many of those as possible before we leave. But for now, please join Best Health in welcoming Seth Hawkins from Guidestone as he offers us strategies and tools we can use right now to ensure that we are financially secure in the future. Seth?
Thank you, Kim. Appreciate the warm welcome, and welcome everyone to this lunch hour session. Kudos for taking some of the time out of your precious lunch hour to attend to this. As Kim said, I'm Seth Hawkins. I've been at Guidestone for 17 years, been working with Baptist on and off during that time, and just really appreciate the work that you guys do and the impact that you're having in the Memphis and surrounding areas, as well as multiple states. So thank you for having us. I'm excited about this partnership with Beth Health, particularly around this topic of starting well and finishing well. I'm excited about what I'm going to present today and how this could impact your future as well as your current state in preparing for your financial future. So I'll jump right into the material because there's quite a bit that we're covering today, and I don't want to miss anything. Make sure we cover everything. All right, here's a quick snapshot of the agenda. You'll see we're going to cover quite a bit, but let me remove some of the pressure from you. Okay, we will be touching on various topics, and I don't expect you to remember or retain or necessarily feel like you have to act on all these topics. My encouragement, my challenge for you is to identify one thing that stands out to you that you see as valuable for your next step in your financial journey to take from this and act on. And I'll be referencing that one thing, whatever that could be for you, throughout this presentation, and then I'll circle back around to it at the end so that we can all walk away with something we want to either take action on, look into, ask questions about, whatever that might be. So that's my challenge for you as we look through these various topics. So we're going to start with why plan ahead. Why have you taken precious time out of your lunch hour to sit down and listen to this presentation? Could it be that there is a gift card in play? Yes. But I like to think that it's more than that, that you see this topic as valuable, you're wanting to improve your financial positioning, and that you're ready to learn more about this topic to be better off and to finish well in the future. Okay. So today, people are retiring a little bit differently than we have in the past. As awesome as Baptist is and your work there, or maybe at least as awesome as getting paid is as an employee, there will come a time where you're no longer either desiring or able to work. This could be because you want to travel the world, you want to spend time on hobbies, you want to take care of family, you might just have gotten tired of it and want to wake up whenever you want to and do whatever you want to every day. Whatever that might be, there will come a time when you need to pay yourself essentially in retirement. And that's what we're going to be talking about today is how we can finish well and make sure we're positioned effectively on that journey today. Okay. Retirement could be closer than you think. Let me share a couple data points with you around that. 70% of current workers believe they're going to work until they're 65. 70%. So 7 out of 10. But the data shows us that only about half of those actually make it to 65. This could be various reasons. It could be because there's a health issue for that person, or maybe a family member that needs to be taken care of. Maybe it's there are layoffs and there's just challenges getting a job, and eventually someone just says, "I'm just going to retire because I'm just tired of pursuing ongoing employment." Whatever that is, there's some things in our control and some things out of our control. But many people don't work as long as they think they might. Therefore, retirement could be closer than you think it is for you. I'll also mention a couple other stats that I found interesting. 73% of retirees wish they would have saved more. So most people, if they could go back to their prior selves, would say, "Hey, save more for me in the future," because they need that income when they retire and no longer working. 66% wish they had gotten more investing and retirement and saving education. So my hope for you today is that this presentation helps exclude you from those groups, that you're not someone that says, "Man, I wish I would have saved more," or "I wish I would have learned more about retirement investing." This type of presentation and future engagements with Guidestone is really the services and education we want to make available so that you can be excluded from this group and be confident in your future. One of the challenges we see is that most people are not confident they're prepared for retirement. As you'll see on this slide, 18% are very confident that they're saving enough and that they've saved enough. 27% of retirees, people who've already jumped into the retirement world, are not very confident that they've saved enough. So that's a scary place to be, to have already made already dove into retirement, and you're not sure if you have enough to make it to the end of your lifetime. That's a scary thought. I hate to be in that position, and I want as few of you as possible to be in that position. That's why we're having this conversation. Now, don't zone out on me here because the B word is on the screen, okay? Budgets are an important part of establishing strong financial foundation. But I'll tell you, budgeting is not what it used to be. Technology, apps have made this a lot easier than what it used to be, maybe for your parents or your grandparents, or maybe even what you used to do. You don't have to be a spreadsheet wizard. You don't have to balance a checkbook anymore. So please pay attention. If you're someone that wants to learn a bit more about the budgeting side, this is going to be a foundational piece that could help you to then build off of. The reality is today, you're living in one of these three buckets on the screen. You're either spending more than you earn, accumulating debt. You're either spending about what you earn each month, which is living paycheck to paycheck. So you're about one unexpected expense away from accumulating debt. Or you're in the green box, which we all want to be in, but sometimes it's hard to be there, where your income is exceeding your expenses consistently and you're able to save. Okay? The words at the top of this screen are very much true. Your cash flow, essentially how you land in these boxes, reveals your financial future. Okay, if you're someone that continues to dig that debt hole deeper and you're not doing anything about it, you're likely going to continue to be further and further in debt. If you're someone that has some margin to save every month, your future self is going to be much happier with you because you've saved and set aside some money for that need. It's important for us to know which reality we're in. That's really the first step. Which of these boxes are we in? It doesn't require spreadsheets these days. Thankfully, technology is at a place where there are tools where you can easily download an app, sign up for the services, and you can have that technology track your expenses, categorize your expenses, track your income, and it can consistently give you a sense of which of those buckets you're in. Am I spending more than I make each month? And I need to take a look at that and see how we can level the playing field some. Or do I have some margin at the end of each month where I can invest and save for the future? On your screen, you're going to see two different tracking tools. There's a lot of these. Monarch is one of the leaders in the space. FaithFi is one we've recently added. Guidestone is actually engaging with FaithFi as we speak to make a low-cost solution available for organizations like Baptist. So more to come on that. If you have one, great. If you haven't used it in a while, I hope you resurrect it. Knowing where your money's coming from and where it's going to, and making that a priority is a critical part when it comes to managing your finances. This could be your one thing, right? This could be something that stands out in this presentation to you and you say, you know, I want to have better visibility into my finances. So I'm going to look at these tools that are available and I'm going to download them and I'm going to engage with them and I'm going to keep it up. Sustainability is important with this. If you go in and do 1 month of tracking your expenses, it's not going to tell you much about anything. Creating a system that is sustainable is important so that you can find success over time. Okay, that's one of the things you might take away from this to take a next step on. Once you have some grounding, if you're someone that kind of understands where your money's coming from and where it's going, I get asked, well, how should I spend my money now that I know what it looks like, where it's going? Here's a sample. It's not perfect. It's not going to be what people are necessarily everyone's able to follow, but it gives you an idea as to how you might structure your spending. 50% essential expenses, house, clothing, utilities, food, all those essentials. 30% non-essential expenses. So these are the extras. These are the Netflixes, the Primes, maybe that pair of shoes you don't really need, but they look really neat, or that purse that you don't really need to go with your other 10 purses, but man, it looks really good. That's the non-essential side. 20% for savings. This can be retirement, saving for a home, saving for a car, healthcare expenses, children's college needs, whatever that is. This is a sample. to look at. One of the challenges we have in my house is what my wife sees as essential, I sometimes see as non-essential. So she's in the 50% bucket, I'm in the 30% bucket. Many times Amazon is involved with this and things that are arriving at our doorstep from Amazon. If you're married, a critical part of success and sustainability is being on the same page with your spouse. For us, that looks like me emailing my wife every month on what our financial positioning was that prior month. We might be sitting on the couch together watching our favorite Netflix show, and I'm emailing her, hey, here's how we did in March as far as money in and money out. She's not interested in sitting down and talking about it, so that works for us. She can read that email whenever she wants to. She might just delete it without emailing it, without reading it, and I'm none the wiser, so it doesn't bother me if she does that. But find a way to get you and your spouse, if you're married, on the same page to be bought into this and be committed to this process. This could be another one thing is I want to sit down with my spouse and I want to talk through exactly where our spending, how our spending looks, where our money's going, and how we can make sure we create a sustainable accumulating wealth lifestyle. Now, if all else fails, the best advice, a starting point I can give you when it comes to personal finance is don't buy stuff you can't afford. If you don't know what you can and can't afford, it means you probably don't have a good assessment of your cash flow. The budgeting app, the cash flow understanding, the structure of budget spending can inform what you can afford and what you can't afford. Because you might not even know that. You might not know if you can afford something if you're not sure where your money's coming from, where it's going, and if you have any left over at the end of the month. So thanks for working with me through that. I wanted to start out with a foundational component of budgeting because it's a critical part of what we're about to talk about, which is how should you prepare for retirement? So Guidestone, we specialize in retirement plans. This is our bread and butter. We love working with the Baptist employees on this topic. So let me unpack some of that for you. The first thing that I do when I sit down with someone is I talk about what can we control and what can't we control. And letting the person I'm meeting with know we have to focus on what we can control. The rest we can plan about, right? We can't control tariffs. We can't control the price of eggs, unfortunately, what's going on in the world economy. We can't control the stock market. All those things are out of our control. We can only plan as best as possible and diversify risk as best as possible in those contexts. We can control what's in this green circle over here. Are we saving and how much? When are we going to take Social Security? Are we insured? Are we budgeting? How are we investing? Can't control the investments, but we can control how we're investing. We can kind of control how long we work right there in the middle. You can work later or shorter. Sometimes your health might have a say into that. But I want us to focus on what we can control, which today we're going to look at savings in particular. We're going to unpack retirement savings in more detail. When you look at saving for retirement, you have to think through what your income sources are. Social Security is going to be a critical part of this equation, but Social Security cannot be the only part that we're relying on. It is going to comprise 30 to 40% of our pre-retirement income is what Social Security is going to do. If I went and asked you guys, hey, who can live on 40 to 60% of their income today? Very few hands, if any, will be raised. That is a pretty significant pay cut. So while Social Security is great, and we'll hopefully all be able to benefit from it, retirement plans such as the 403B that Baptist makes available is needed to supplement that. Pension plans, we have it on here mainly because it makes me jealous when I see it. Most people don't have pension plans unless you're in the public arena or you've worked with a unique organization for a long time. Pensions are generally our parents' game or our grandparents' game. They got pensions because they worked for an organization for 30 or 40 years and then retired with them. They're not going to be in existence much outside of just a few unique circumstances today. Other sources can include passive income, part-time work. Maybe you love what you do, you just want to turn down the volume some as far as how much you're doing it. Part-time work can help with that. So consider all these levels of income that are going to build to a point to provide you with your retirement income need. So I'm going to give you a few rules of thumb here when it comes to saving. I'm not crazy about rules of thumb at an individual level, but at this audience, it does help give people ideas of what they should be targeting. You're going to need, on average, about 80% of your pre-retirement income in retirement. Okay, so ease of math, because I like easy math, $100,000, you're going to need about $80,000. Okay, for example. Now, if you're looking to go crazy and travel the world, Maybe the first few years you need 100% or 120% of your pre-retirement income. Maybe if your hobby is really expensive, you might need more than that. But as time goes on, people generally spend less. Medical bills go up, healthcare goes up, but general spending normally goes down. 80% is kind of a rule of thumb. To do that, you'll need to save 10 to 15, probably closer to 15% of your compensation between your employer contribution and your contribution over your career in order to get to that point where you can supply yourself 80% of your pre-retirement income. So just be thinking about that. So contributions matter, but when you start contributing is a critical component in the calculation. Let me give you an example here. This is a chart that I'm going to say represents four different individuals: a 25-year-old, 26-year-old, 30-year-old, and a 40-year-old. And they all start at their respective ages contributing $100 a month. You'll notice the 25-year-old at the age of 65, once they've contributed $100 every month, has $200,000 in their retirement account. The 26-year-old waited 1 year and has $13,000 less. And you can see how that trails off the later you start contributing to retirement. Now, here's my caveat. If you find yourself further right on this chart, or maybe not even on the chart, that's perfectly fine. We love working with individuals that might be later in their career that haven't prioritized saving and need help. Okay, there's a lot of levers we can pull around Social Security and timing of retirement and part-time work, etc., to help create a plan that can get you to a point where you can feel confident about what that retirement looks like. So don't be discouraged because you're not in the 25 to 40 crew. I'm turning 40 next month, so I'm very soon going to fall off the edge of this chart, and I'll be in that same group. So don't be discouraged. Okay. When you contribute is important, as this table shows. It's powerful to start earlier, but also how you contribute is also a significant piece to finishing well. So let me introduce you to four of my friends. We got Flat Dollar Fred at the bottom, Percentage Patty, Increasing Irene, and Saver Steve. So let me tell you a little bit about these people, what actions they took, and what their end result was. Okay, Flat Dollar Fred, think of a nice guy. He's kind of got that surfer dude vibe. You can see his little spiky hair in his little icon there. He's someone that gets real passionate about something really quick, but then it falls off and he doesn't consider it any further. We all know those type of people. Kudos to him for starting contributing, but he started with a flat amount. He didn't do a percentage of his income. He simply said, I'm going to start with a flat dollar amount, and he never changed it. It didn't grow with his salary. He never revisited it to incrementally increase it. He left it flat. So you can see there, he's our last place finisher, Flat Dollar Fred. His wife, Percentage Patty, she's got some tendencies that Flat Dollar Fred has, but she did one thing different. She made a percentage contribution instead of a flat dollar contribution. So her contribution increased as her career progressed, as her income increased over time. That moved up with her. So she finished slightly better than Flat Dollar Fred. So we always encourage percentage contribution versus a flat contribution. The hero of this story is not the person who finished first, it's actually Increasing Irene. Irene is one of those tough go-getters, has had some struggles in life, but she's persevered and she wants to finish well in retirement. She's dead set on it. So what she did is she started at a lower contribution rate because she was getting started and had some financial challenges, but she was dedicated to revisiting that contribution on a regular basis and incrementally increased it. So every year she'd go back and say, I'm going to increase it another percent and another percent and another percent and another percent over those years until she got to that 15% target between her and her employer contribution. And then lastly, we have Saver Steve. Saver Steve, he's one of those trust fund babies, okay? He's one of those guys that come out that when he's around, we're kind of rolling our eyes because Saver Steve is in the room. But a little bit is because we're jealous. Saver Steve was able to save 15% his whole career, never moved from it. And you can see he finishes with the highest balance. So good for Saver Steve. Now, in reality, most of us are going to finish somewhere between Percentage Patty and Increasing Irene. Starting at a percentage is important, and incrementally revisiting that is also important. This could be your one thing. When we're looking at how do we better position ourselves for retirement, contributions are in our control, And man, those incremental, even small increases of a percent on occasion can make a big difference over time, as you can see here from increasing Irene's end number. So kudos for her. Let's all try to be our best increasing Irene as we move forward. I want to transition now to the 403B plan, the retirement plan that Baptist makes available. It's a vehicle specifically for retirement. It allows you to tax shelter contributions, meaning you're paying less to Uncle Sam. It allows for tax deferred growth, meaning you don't have to pay taxes as your account grows. Hopefully, sooner than later, we see account growth again. I know this year has been troublesome, but history tells us the market is perseverant. Let's continue to contribute and persevere through that. So that's certainly part of it. I have people ask, why not just put in a savings account? I got a bank account over here. It's paying 3 to 4% interest right now. The problem is we're human. We see that shiny new technology. We're more liable to go grab that money and spend it on something that's not retirement related. So this 403B retirement account helps set it aside specifically for retirement. What about contributions? What money? I know I have the plan. What money can go into it? You can contribute. Baptist contributes, and you can consolidate retirement plans into your Guidestone 403B. You might have a 401k elsewhere. You might have an IRA elsewhere, another 403B. If you want to bring those together for ease of management, by all means, there's going to be an option at the end of this presentation to schedule a time with our team to talk specifically about that. Unpacking your contributions a little bit, there's a tax sheltered contribution, there's a Roth contribution. The bottom line you need to know is, do I pay taxes today or tomorrow, or today or in the future when I retire? This is a more involved discussion, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it here, but I would encourage you, if you want to unpack this could be very well your one thing of I want to better understand Roth versus traditional and decide which one is best for me. Schedule some time with our team, or there's also self-serve education resources on our website, guidestone.org, where you can read about Roth and tax sheltered and which one might be best for you. But this could very well be your one thing to look into. All right, I want to leave some time for questions, but I got a few more slides to pop through here. Now, what do we do? Well, the most powerful one thing you can do if you're not enrolled in the plan today is get enrolled and begin contributing something, 1% of your compensation. I mean, even join Flat Dollar Fred in contributing a flat dollar, if that's all you can do. Let's get started in the plan. I also encourage you to download the app or set up your online access. That's where you can engage with your plan. You can see history, you can make changes, you can do a lot of learning there, all at your fingertips. It's a great resource. But now I want you to think about, as I'm almost wrapping up here, what is your one thing that you're taking away? Is it, I need to create a budget. I need to sit down with my husband or wife and talk about what our spending looks like. I need to download one of those budgeting apps. Maybe I need to increase my contributions or consider Roth versus traditional. Maybe I need to simply schedule an appointment with this Guidestone person to talk about what my situation looks like and to be able to personalize that a little bit, ask my questions to Guidestone. A lot of different things that could be taken away. I hope everyone now has at least one thing that stood out to you to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my next step. All right. Now, I'm a realist. As much as I like to think you guys are all here, 100 and, well, the number went away. It was over 100 a moment ago to hear me speak. I know it's at least in part because of, yes, the subject matter, but also the gift card. So how do you win this gift card? Well, step one, you're almost done. Attend this meeting. That's the hard part, listening to me talk for 30 minutes, okay? We're almost done with that. Secondly, complete the retirement readiness assessment by May 16th. Okay, that's a month from now. You can do it. I know you're busy. A month from now, complete this tool. I'm going to talk more about. If you're not enrolled yet, you have to enroll to complete this tool. So remember that. You have to enroll in the plan and start contributing to have access to this tool to then be entered into the gift card drawing. All right. There is a module in the middle of the page, whether it's your app on your phone or whether it's a desktop, retirement planning right there. Get my score. It's a quick few-step process to see how you're progressing to retirement. It's going to ask you a few questions. And the more accurate you are with your answers, the more accurate the projection will be. If you're in a good place, it will tell you that. Keep up the good work. If it needs work, it'll provide you with some pointers on what you can do to be on a better position to finish well. And you're not alone in any of this. Okay, we have a highly capable team of on-site representatives that can connect with you. They swing around to hospitals and offices and all over the place across those states to meet with individuals. They can also have a virtual conversation with you as well. Very much a powerful tool I want you to use to customize this information to specifically your situation so you can ask your questions. And it gives these guys job security so they can continue to do their jobs and do it well. And I know they appreciate that. Here's the QR code you can scan with your phone right now to pull up the list of available appointments. So if you have questions, you want to customize it, you want to talk to someone further, please scan this, find a time that works for you. Okay. In closing, because we're right at time, the decisions you make today, the actions you take on account of this information are going to or have the potential to really significantly impact your future and better position you for whatever you have before you. And we want that to be a future and a finishing well that doesn't have regrets about not saving enough, doesn't have regrets about not learning investments or savings well enough, but is well equipped to have that flexibility in the future. So it's our privilege as Guidestone to come alongside you and help you in that journey. Please use us as a resource. We're privileged to be able to work with you. Okay, I've left a few minutes. I know we have some hands raised, but please put any questions in the chat. Troy, do we have any questions in the chat that need addressing?
Not right now.
Okay. If the gentleman who has his hands raised, if you'll type out your question, that will allow us to answer that. If you have things still circling in your mind that you want to hear further unpacked, or maybe I didn't address because we, again, covered a lot in a short amount of time, scan this QR code and send it over to us, or pick a time that works best for your schedule. If there's a location that doesn't have as much availability, it's okay. Move over to another appointment or another schedule, and we can get you an appointment sooner than that. I am getting some questions now. Thank you for signing up for the appointment today. That's awesome. This is going to be recorded. Leah and Kim and their team are going to be getting this out to you. And the questionnaire, that retirement readiness assessment, is available in the app and is available on the desktop. Either way you go through it, even if you've gone through it before, go through it again sometime between today and May 16th. All right, our taxes are filed. Hopefully you guys have or will get a refund. Might be a good time to carve some of that out and put that in your retirement account. Get enrolled, get started. You have to be enrolled in order to access this account. I just want to reinforce that. Okay. There's a question about merging retirement accounts from a previous employer. There's ways we can help you do that because it can be cumbersome at times. So scan the QR code, schedule an appointment with us, and we'd love to walk you through that and make it as easy as possible. Well, hey, thank you for your time today. I love the chance to work with the Baptist and the employees. The impact that you have and the health and the community is just incredibly palatable, and we just love the fact that we can play a little part in helping support the great work that you're doing. So thank you for being here today. Enjoy the rest of the day. God bless you.
Thank you, Seth.